Today, we're diving into something that's happening to you right this very second. We're talking about human health, but maybe not in the way you usually think about it. See, health isn't just a passive state of being. It's a constant, active battle. Inside each of us, there's a microscopic war for control raging on. So let's get into the fight. I want you to start with this one powerful idea. Your body is a battlefield. Seriously. Right now, as you're sitting there, an invisible, high-stakes war is being fought inside you. Your body's defense forces are constantly pushing back against trillions of potential invaders, all of them trying to gain a foothold.
Now, in any battle, you've got to know what you're fighting for. So what is health really? Well, it turns out our modern understanding goes way beyond just, not being sick. It's much more of a delicate balancing act.
Today's definition is really holistic. Health isn't just about whether your body is working right. It's a state of complete well-being. That means physical, mental, and social. Your mind, your body, your entire environment, they all have to be in harmony.
But, we didn't always see it this way. For centuries, the leading theory was something called the good humor hypothesis, from Hippocrates. The idea was that your health depended on the balance of 4 bodily fluids, or humors. So, if you had too much black bile, for example, they thought you'd be irritable and prone to illness. This whole idea was completely thrown out the window once William Harvey discovered how blood actually circulates, which, you can imagine, was a total game-changer for medicine.
So for health is this delicate balance. What's always trying to tip the scales? Well, it's time to meet the enemy, pathogens. These are the microscopic invaders that are constantly trying to breach our defenses.
To put it simply, a pathogen is any little organism that can make you sick. And this is a huge category. We're talking bacteria, viruses, and all sorts of other tiny things. From our point of view, their only goal is to use our body's resources to survive and multiply, and that's what usually ends up harming us. And they have all kinds of different tactics. You've got bacteria, like the one that causes typhoid, which often get in through contaminated food and water. Then there are viruses, like the common cold, which just hang out in the air waiting for you to breathe them in. And some, like the protozoa that cause malaria, get a little help. They use a vector, like a mosquito, as their own personal delivery service.
Understanding how these invaders get from point A to point B is absolutely critical. So, how do they move from one person to another? Let's take a look at their tactics of transmission.
So the main ways they travel are through the air, in our food and water, through direct contact, or by hitching a ride on an animal vector. But to really see how sneaky this can be, we need to look at one of the most famous cases in medical history.
For this, let's hop in a time machine and go back to the early 1900s. I want you to meet a woman named Mary Mallon. She was a professional cook and apparently a very good one. But she was carrying a dangerous secret, one she didn't even know she had.
Mary was what we now call an asymptomatic carrier. She felt completely fine, no fever, no chills, nothing. But inside her body, she was harboring a deadly passenger, the bacteria that causes typhoid fever. As she moved from kitchen to kitchen, cooking for different wealthy families, she was unknowingly spreading this devastating disease through the food she prepared. Eventually, health officials traced several outbreaks back to her, and she became infamous as Typhoid Mary. Her story is just a chilling reminder of how easily these things can spread.
Okay, so with all these invaders constantly trying to get in, how on earth do our bodies fight back? Well, lucky for us, we have an incredibly sophisticated, multi-layered army at our disposal, our immune system.
Think of your immune system as having 2 main branches. First up, you've got your innate immunity. These are your first responders, the defenses you're born with. We're talking about physical barriers like your skin and things like your stomach acid. They're the front line. But then you have the acquired immunity. These are your elite special forces. This part of the system learns, adapts, and, this is the most important part, it remembers every single enemy it's ever faced.
And the key to this whole system is its memory. The very first time it sees a new pathogen, it starts developing a specific plan of attack. Specialized cells called B lymphocytes start pumping out these custom-made proteins called antibodies. You can think of them like tiny, heat-seeking missiles that lock onto that one specific invader. Other cells, the T lymphocytes, help coordinate the attack. So the next time that same bad guy shows up, your immune system instantly recognizes it and launches a counterattack that is way faster and way stronger.
So if we know how our bodies fight, we can actually come up with strategies to help them win. And this isn't just about reacting when we get sick. It's about being proactive and creating the best possible conditions for our internal army to do its job.
It really boils down to a 4-part strategy for winning this health war. It starts with the simple stuff, personal hygiene, like washing your hands. Then it expands to public hygiene. things like clean water and proper waste disposal. We can control vectors, by getting rid of places where mosquitoes breed. And then we have one of our most powerful tools, vaccination.
Vaccination is basically like giving your immune army a training manual on the enemy. We introduce a safe, weakened, or deactivated piece of a pathogen, which allows your acquired immune system to study it, create the right antibodies, and build up that all-important memory, all without you ever having to actually get sick. It's boot camp for your immune cells, training for a battle before the real war even starts.
The thing is, this battle for your body is a war that never, ever ends. We've come an incredibly long way from thinking about humors to understanding the complex dance of cells and antibodies. But the enemy is always evolving. So that leaves us with a big question. As pathogens keep changing their tactics, what's going to be the next great breakthrough that gives us the edge in this constant battle for our health?